The following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
And, of course, I forgot to bring everybody in. But good evening, everybody. And now you're watching the Coach's Box. Hey, it's been a long week already, and it's only Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday.
That's okay. But guess what? We're here. And
hey, who's not here? Who's not here?
I'm in practice.
Jim, who's not here? Jim, who's not here?
He's at practice. He's
practice.
Practice. Getting ready for practice.
How does anybody have late practice anymore? Doesn't he have multiple facilities to use? I mean,
I don't know. He doesn't yet, but I don't want to hear it because I just found out earlier this week that we're practicing Friday nights from 5:30 to 7:30. I said to Ben, you've got to be out of your mind, but we had to do it one night.
Zach's like, and nope.
Nope.
Just Friday? Hey, just Friday, Jim? How about every daggum Friday?
Hey, how about this?
Monday,
how about we play on Fridays in January and February? So I'm okay with it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, there you go. See?
There it is. And we play in December. We play a print on a Friday night. And we play the Herky Tournament Championship on Friday night. Yes, I'm calling that shot right out of the gate. So there it is.
Wow.
Chris, are you doing late practice? I got to know.
Zach?
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah.
All right. Don't hate.
Don't hate you. Okay.
So we get out of school at 2:05.
Oh.
What time do you think I start practice?
Hey, Zach, that means he's out of practice by 4:15.
No, you 6:05.
2:30.
Oh,
and he's done at 4:30. He's in his car driving home by 4:45.
Actually, no. What I've been doing, because we have tryouts, and I've got to figure
tryouts.
Yeah, we got a lot of kids that come out. I'm happy with. I mean, they're no seniors. I think I'm going to have one senior this year, but we've had some good numbers, and they're learning how to deal with me. I hope. Because
with that freaking elbow, I would assume that they're getting used to you.
We're still learning how to deal with you.
Well, you guys, some of you guys still don't understand how to deal with me, but that's okay. And I'm not the easiest to deal with either. So, no, it's we're done at 2:30. Let's see, we went 2:30 to 5 the last 2 days. Because we've had our 2 days. We've just finished our last day of tryouts, so we're gonna be making our cuts. And then our freshman team practices 4 to 6 because our 2 freshman coaches are non-faculty. Adine Kurtovich, my former player,
Eddie,
and
Eddie's doing freshman.
And my new assistant coach, St. Pius X alumni, Eli Boyer, who played for me.
Goodness!
That is an all-state coaching staff right there.
Well, I mean, they're all something for sure. They've been great.
Try having one of them in class.
I had Eddie.
Oh, I did.
Had Eddie.
Eddie like. So yeah,
that was pre-beard. Actually, Eddie's right now. Eddie
had a beard. Eddie had a beard in 3rd grade. What are you talking about?
Probably. Eddie's actually at St. Louis Community College watching another former St. Pius alum, Patrick Flanagan, who made the team, he's playing tonight. So
nice.
yeah, he's Johnny Logan. So he did send me a text. He said, if you thought Patrick could shoot in high school, he's on another level now. So kudos to him. Yeah, I'm gonna try to find a day to go up and watch, and see him because I'm really proud of him. But anyway, we've got, speaking of St. Pius, let's jump right into it. Jim, this is you.
Yeah. Well, the Jim's down here in Cape. The X took care of business today. No, I mean it was convincing too. What they did to Platte County today, 3-set sweep, 25-18. Second set got a little crazy, but they were able to pull out a 27-25 and then 25-22 to close things out. But I tell you what, Kate Sherry had a terrific afternoon with 13 kills. She hit a 650 percentage, which is just unbelievable. Rubel had 36 assists.
Jeez.
And then, Bennett Reitman had 10 kills as well. So they took care of their business, and now they're going to get a very tired team tomorrow that had to play a 5-setter against Lutheran St. Charles. So in the championship game, Jefferson City. So it'll be an interesting matchup, but I've said it to quite a few people. I really like what St. Pius has been doing all year, and I think they've got a really good shot to win the state championship tomorrow. And that game will be at 4:00 tomorrow afternoon.
And Pius, and I watched the game. We had some kids in the cafeteria. We were watching the game, all doing some stuff down there, but Pius didn't play very well at times. They had 15 service errors today. And but they do enough, and they've got enough weapons that can swing that it's tough for anybody to match up with them. So you can take one away, but if you take one away, if you take Leftrich away, you've got Ratterman swinging, you've got Mikowski, you've got Sherry that can all swing it. And you can't take two of them away. I don't think many high school teams have enough talent to be able to take two away. So,
they got away with it today, hitting at 237. They had 15 errors and 97 total attacks. So that kind of, you're not used to seeing them. Normally they're hitting in the 3 to 390 range, and today for them hitting that low, and still getting a 3-set win. So let's just say that they did it on a day that they didn't really swing very well from the outside.
Yeah. Platte County actually had a 23-18 lead in the second set. And then Pius rattled off like 6 straight points to take.
Yeah.
To try to, and it went back and forth, ended up winning that one 27-25. And we kind of said, as soon as that happened in that second set, that's a demoralizing way to have a lead like that that late in a set and then not be able to hold on to it.
Oh, without a doubt. So, you've got that. We're an hour behind because of the back-to-back 5-setters. Lafayette won in 5 sets, and they had to scratch and claw to get a victory tonight over a really, really good Liberty team. And then Ozark is beating Francis Howell right now, 2-0, and it's 11-11 in the third set as we're getting our last game. But, the fun thing is St. Vinny, how about them making a little bit of a trek down here in Class 2? They're going to play. The season may come to a crashing halt because they're playing Bishop LeBlond in this semifinal. And Bishop LeBlond's 31-3-1. They're good.
All right.
They're pretty good.
And with Vinny, they were down to their last point against Jefferson, and Jefferson was up 2-0, basically down to their last point in that third set. Came back, won that game, and then won the last 2. So again, kind of kudos to Vincent. I know Jefferson had a great year. I think they were ranked in the top 10 in the state for most of the year. But Kevin, you talking about Pius. I mean, how cool is it? You talk about the girls, and we've had them and had opportunity to teach them, and a great group of girls. But the fact that you have 3 Division I players, you're talking about the big hitters, 3 D1 kids. And we're not talking. We're not talking. Just like that D1. We're talking. Power 5 D1 as well. So Lefferts going to NC State, and then Ratterman had signed with Florida State. Mikowski, I think right now is going to Murray State. And then Rubel, as the setter, I would assume whether she wants to do track, whether she wants to do volleyball. I mean, she's just an all-around heck of an athlete.
I think she's going to end up playing beach volleyball in college.
And there's a lot of kids that are bypassing indoor volleyball to play beach because there's so many new schools that are adding beach volleyball. And it's really cool to see. I know Missouri State added beach volleyball. I know a couple schools in my conference have added beach volleyball. So I mean, you're exactly right. She may go that direction. But yeah, I mean, just some of the big, the great players that we're seeing down here at Cape, and this is the last year we're at Cape. For volleyball, it heads out to St. Joe's next year at their wonderful new revamped facility. So it's been a great first day, and it's going to be a lot of fun to follow through, for the next couple days, especially with the smaller classification starting on Friday.
Hey, Jim, I got to ask, because with it going to having a semifinal at noon on a Wednesday, what were the crowds like? I know we had some students leave school to come down there.
Yeah,
but
it was not bad at all. I was actually pleasantly surprised that the noon game and the 2:00 game had some pretty good crowds that have joined in. Now, obviously,
they had the camera on the wrong side because they were pointing. The camera points at the empty side of the arena. So
right, and that's the way they've got to set it up is over there, so that they've got the table, the scores table, then the media row, and then the Misha folks, for their command center. But no, I thought the crowds were very good today. I think the Class 3 crowds tomorrow morning with the 10:00 and 12:00 matches are going to be pretty decent, and then obviously the championships at 2:00 and at 4:00 and 8:00 tomorrow are going to be really, really a lot of fun to watch. Especially if this Lafayette Ozark game matches up, which Ozark leading by a point now in the third with a 2-set advantage. A lot of people have been circling that one. And then obviously, the X taking on a really talented Jeff City team. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but the crowds were not nearly as bad as a lot of people would have thought, moving everything up a day and starting at 12 noon.
Hey, I got a question. And obviously, I worked at St. Pius last year, and I thought that they were going to be able to drop a class. Were they not able to drop the points, or did they fall in the bracket?
No, they stayed right where they were, and honestly, they may take the big jump. Well, no, it all depends. I'm not sure where they would. This would be their cap, I think. So if they're 2, they can only move 2. So if they're cap. Normally 2. They can only move up 2, so they're capped at 4. So that's where they're going to.
When we discussed this last year, I remember this discussion was whether if they made it to the title game last year, they got 2 or 3 points. Because we couldn't remember what that was, but you get 3 for finishing second, which kept them in the bumped up area.
Well, I thought there was going to be some points that came off the board, but I mean,
1 point came off the board, but 3 went on the board. So
wait, you mean if I take 1 away and I add 3, that's
no. No. It's got to be your bowl.
It's got to be your bowl. I never looked at T-ball. That was on TV the other day. I was like, I'm watching this for a while. But yeah, I mean, it's. I'll tell you what, Shannon does a good job with those girls, and I'm rooting for them, and hoping they bring it home. So I'm going to take my daughter down and watch volleyball Saturday, and hopefully
he'll come to watch volleyball, but put it this way, he will be coming to soccer this year for the champion. Yes, he will, because of that certain little thing that I'm getting at the soccer championship. So
okay, maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Hey, he's been to soccer. Hey, he has been to soccer.
I've got the video proof of it.
Everybody has seen me be at a soccer game, so I'm
happy and delighted that you're at the soccer.
I don't know about that.
He sat on the bench at Bishop DeBerg to watch a girls' game.
I remember
Maybe
that.
it was last spring or the spring
I was
before.
the assistant coach.
Yeah.
Yes, you were the JV assistant that year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was cold because that wind was blowing. The
Yes.
berg. It's like, what the hell? Aren't these houses stopping this?
No, DeBerg is an absolute flipping wind tunnel. Everything blows in off of Hampton over
It definitely blows
smoke,
up there.
salt and smoke.
The wind,
it's
I
so
mean.
funny. No, the
I
wind.
know.
Kevin,
No,
you
but
guys
anyway,
didn't take off school? I figured y'all would have took off school.
Tomorrow's our day of giving.
Oh, no, that ain't happening.
So we got a half day tomorrow.
Okay.
and the match doesn't start till 4.
Yeah, so we're gonna, we got a half day, so we're gonna be able to get everybody to the championship game tomorrow that want to go. And we had a bunch of students today leave and sign out and go down to the game, but we kind of had to keep some momentum going towards the day of giving, and it's just kind of a decision that was made there. So would I have loved to be able to go down, but I get both sides of it.
Well, you are an administrator, Kevin, so you must stay
I am
on
middle
board.
management at best. There's an administrators meeting. I don't get invited to it. So
I'll talk to Tilden. We'll get that all taken care of for you. We'll make sure you're added in.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I'm good.
Well, you're good. And cross country this weekend, some great representation going out to Gans Creek. I think Hillsborough Festus, R7 has some kids going out. So it's going to be, this is the fun time of the year, guys. And, next week is the swim and dive championships, if I'm not mistaken. And then the soccer championships the weekend before, and then we get a 2-week break, and then the football championships for the last time at Faroe Field for a little bit, because football's moving out to St. Joe's as well next year. So this is a fun time of the year. Believe me when I tell you.
They're moving off of Columbia. Really?
Well, I think
Columbia,
from Missouri wanted them off.
Columbia did not. Well, Mizzou did not want it because they have this pipe dream that they may be hosting a college football playoff game, and they can't afford to give off the field. And I have said it. I'm glad Jarvis isn't here for me to go ahead and say that, because I would probably get yelled at, and he'd make my blood pressure go up, and we don't want my blood pressure to go up. But no, I mean, Mizzou made the decision not to bid. And the bid came to St. Joe's, and so that's why 8-man's going to be at St. Joe's this year. Everything else will be at Faroe, and then everything moves out to Missouri Western next year for the football side of things.
Mo Western has a nice facility, so
it's a terrific facility. For those that don't know, that's where the Chiefs do their preseason practices. It's a terrific facility, and the only bad thing is now for St. Louis contingent, it's almost 5 hours, and it's not the easiest trip to get to St. Joe's either.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's not. But hey, let's take things away from the middle of the state. I don't even like volleyball being at the Show Me Center. And I'm a Southeast Missouri guy.
But Chris, here's the thing: where else are you going to put state football? Because Mizzou didn't want it this go around. Now, that's not to say it could change.
What's it, Lincoln in Jeff City? Do that?
No.
Well,
not enough parking. I mean, they struggled enough.
Jeff City High School.
Jeff City High School.
Hey,
we're taking over. And
Pete Atkins Stadium is
Father Tolton. I mean,
no. Father Tolton Stadium does. But I will tell you this. Now, remember during COVID, they moved this class 6 game. DeSmet played Ray-Pec at Atkins Stadium, and that's because when they had to move everybody around, and that they played the big school championship down at Atkins, and they still do track and field there. But I don't think they want to do that at a high school. I think they really want to put the state championships on a college field, or heaven forbid if St. Louis couldn't get their heads out of their butts and not want to charge an obscene amount of money to let the kids play at the Dome. Heaven forbid the city of St. Louis do something smart. Just saying.
Could do the Astrodome. Friday Night Lights, anybody?
Friday Night Lights, anybody?
I got it.
Yeah. I was right there with you. Hey, I know. Why would play in Houston in the Astrodome? All right, we can do that.
you
But City Park is another. Personally, I'm hoping that soccer ends up at City Park.
Wait,
I think that would be.
Energizer Park. Sorry.
Oh, okay, Energizer Park. I don't know if the City SC folks are ready to put football on that field yet. I'm not sure. But it's shut up, Scott. Shut up, Chris.
They already have football in the stadium.
Yeah, they
just need to
do.
put the lesser one in there.
Shut up,
Yeah, I know exactly. Gosh, I'm losing my mind. I thought Scott Lundy was. I would say it's been a long day already, and I've still got 3 more days left. On that note, boys, I have to actually go back to work.
Okay.
I have to go back to work here down at volleyball, as Ozark's going to end up winning, and so Howell will play in the 3rd place game tomorrow, and Ozark and Lafayette tomorrow night at 8:00.
There you go.
All
Well,
right.
Jim, I hope I get to see you Saturday.
We'll take care of that. Don't worry. I've already got the wheels in motion.
Okay.
There you go.
But do they have?
I'll see you tomorrow, Jim.
This is down to
Wait a
SEMO,
second.
but I've got to ask: Do they like Mizzou has for the Final Four basketball? Do they have a little coaches area where you can get all the popcorn and soda you want?
Nope.
Get out of here,
But
Chris.
wait
You
a
don't need
second,
to
though.
go. You don't need to go.
Hold on.
No, it ain't worth
No,
it.
Chris goes just to steal stuff because Chris is
Yeah, well, that got taken away from me. Jason West, you took away my pass. I have not forgot about it.
No, babe, you also have something else.
Oh.
You have you have signage.
Never mind. I know it.
Never mind.
It's something they can print off at Kinko's or Office Max or something. So
Hey, we've
Made on
already had to
Canva.
print off something at FedEx today, so it's all
boy.
right. It's all good.
Yeah.
So,
all right, Jim. Will you have
shoot.
fun and don't work too hard? I
won't.
I will.
I know you will. So, all right, boys, I will see you all next week. Hopefully the show's on Wednesday night next week so I can be on for the full show. Because next Thursday I'll be in Fort Worth, Texas for volleyball. More volleyball.
This guy everywhere.
He's
He's everywhere.
So,
He's big time, man.
Big time.
That's Jason Jarvis, boys and girls. He is the Southeast rep for the Missouri basketball.
Yes, he
coaches.
is.
That is big time. I am just a lowly voter, and he is big time.
Well, Jim, you have something that Jason doesn't. You're the sack.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
All right, Jim, we'll let you go. Have fun.
All right, boys. We'll see you next week.
Jim.
Have a good show. All right, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and
But he talked a little bit.
And go ahead.
Well, I wanted to
Zach's
give it
okay.
its due diligence just because it is state. So he had brought up cross country. I want to talk about our local teams again, just because I've got a microphone and you're going to listen to what I have to say. But so we have Festus. Well, that's true. Touche. Festus boys and girls are going down. Herculaneum boys and girls are going down. I think first time in school history, Jefferson is sending both boys and girls down at the same time. So that's a big win for the school there. DeSoto boys, I believe, they're going down. Other I guess JCAA schools or JCC schools. You have St. Vincent as well. They're sending their girls cross country team down. So there's a lot of excitement there for the cross country. You've got Jefferson boys. They are ranked 3rd in state. I believe Herculaneum boys are ranked 3rd or 4th in state. Festus boys, I believe they're ranked 4th in state. So you got some teams there that are trying to vie for some hardware on top of, again, the girls' side as well. So good luck to all of those runners coming up. I think it's supposed to rain. I mean, we already had 9-10 inches of rain in our area the last couple of days. I think it's supposed to rain again down at Gans Creek on Saturday. So hopefully they'll be able to get it in and won't be too bad on the cross country course. But good luck to all of them.
It's only supposed to be like a 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch type of rain on Saturday. But by the time they rain, when they run during the day, it won't be nearly anywhere near that much. So,
yeah. So it's
go ahead.
I was just saying, because I couldn't remember if you mentioned it. Pius does have an individual going as well, and there's probably multiple other individuals. Jaden Metzler, he's going up there as well. So Jaden's got a really good chance, I think, too.
Yeah, he did. He medaled last year, and I mean, he's really improved, and he's kind of been in the 16s, and I think he's around. If he's not top 10, he's right there rankings right now. So. You kind of expect something big for Jaden because, again, him placing last year, have an opportunity to do that. He finished, he led the whole way at districts until about the last switchback. And then the Woodland, the Layton boy from Woodland, just started out kicking him probably about the last, we'll call it 600 to 800 and overtook Jaden, but Jaden finished second. And man, it's just nice to see him just really kind of improve. So then again, you've got the Dremeyer boy at Festus that he ran. He won his district pretty handily. I know Festus and Webster Groves have been battling all year long, but Jaden, Carson, you talk about again like Power 5 dudes. He's going to be one. I think he goes into his senior year, he'll probably wind up being in the 14s, which is really, really kind of unheard of.
Yeah. That's fast.
I'm not that fast.
No.
I'm not sure I could drive a cross-country race in 14 minutes.
Right?
Well,
right. Yeah.
Now, I've seen Zach running short distances. I'm not sure how he is on
the fridge.
Distances.
I don't know how Ethan definitely does not get the genetics for me. Cross country.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. No, athleticism, quickness.
He's
awesome.
Zach only runs his short distances quickly at Herculaneum. So maybe being that it's Herky, there's something in the building that causes people to run faster.
Maybe.
Right.
Well,
man, they turn linemen into cross-country runners over there, don't they?
Maybe we get maybe Jarvis gets done with his practice and he decides to pop on here. I feel like that's going to happen. He'll try to jump in, and then he'll be like, "Where's Jim at? Where's Jim at?" Jason, he's already been here, talked about stuff, and you're gone because I got to have practice.
Who has late? Who gets done a practice at 8:30? Like who does that really? I don't get it.
Now or
ever, Chris, ever.
Zach, I'm turning over a new leaf. That's what
hey, you know what? Like I said, eventually everybody comes around and realizes I'm right. It just takes a little bit.
No, so. I'm not admitting to that. I'm just saying that I just decided I wanted to have late practice, or early practice now instead of late practice.
Yeah.
See, it's still like it's a Freudian slip.
Right.
But it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about high school basketball. It just started. We'll go ahead and jump in. I'm sure Jason will jump in. Or, we could talk now. Zach doesn't know anything about St. Louis Blues. So when we come back, we will talk some high school basketball.
I know you give up a lot of goals.
Well, that does help. And and then we'll see if Jason Jarvis jumps in. You're watching the Coach's Box.
I'm the play-by-play announcer who's in your ear all game long. And the more praise I heap on your team, the more excited you get. Touchdown! Now, you don't hear the upstairs toilet overflowing, and I don't mean with confidence. You wanted a bowl season? You got a bowl season. And if I could show up on game day, imagine what could happen the rest of the week. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Daikin and Dave Mars.
Cut. All right, next set up.
Hey, Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Daikin about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Daikin dealer.
All right, back for one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636 337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
You need new entertainment, you need full-length content, you need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Health Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second segment of the Coach's Boxes, episode 213. Good Lord, it's been that long. And if you like our show, appreciate you guys tuning in. You can go ahead and subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever, on whatever platform you're watching this on. It's all brought to you free of charge, thanks to our awesome sponsors. And we do appreciate you doing that, and it helps us kind of keep promoting this, dumpster fire of a show we bring to you almost every week. So, that being said, guys, the main topic of our show is the return of high school basketball. It is here.
There you go. There you go.
Zach, you've been doing this already for over a week because you're the junior high or middle school or whatever you guys call it over there at the Jefferson R7. But the rest of us just started high school boys basketball and Jim with high school girls basketball. I'm telling you right now, I had to adjust myself because the way I think, because it's been a long, I know I almost messed up. It's been a long day. I had to do that too, but I had to adjust the way I was thinking, because it's like, okay, I've got to get my mind wrapped around the fact that not only do I have to start school at 7, but I've got to coach basketball for a few hours afterwards too. So it is a grind. It is a process, as we put it in the title, but it is a glorious game, and I'm so happy it's here.
Can you believe it?
No.
Man, I was going to say it has just, school year has just flown by. I'll say this: October flew by. September felt like it was about 3 months long, but man, October, it's come and went. We're here. We're ready for November. We're obviously past the election already from this week, and I mean, it's Wednesday. You've got teams that again have had a few practices in. I think confidence for probably every team is super high right now. The kids, the coaches, everybody's thinking about what could be, what's going to happen. And it's an exciting time, again, I can remember, and you guys could probably share as well, but I can remember that those first few days in practice were always electric, because you're thinking like, oh man, let's go, let's get after it. It didn't matter how much running you had to do and whether you had a ball in your hand or not. I mean, you're doing all that running, but before pre-practice, post-practice. But I tell you what, there are some things in life that, you would go back and do. You could do all the different runs, I would do it in a heartbeat, just to go and probably have having another week at basketball, just because it was so much fun. So it's
I
a good time. And go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just saying, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I just think that maybe back when I was in high school, all the running that my coach wanted us to do, I was just thinking like, man, I just want to make it to the next day. I can't wait to play games. When I was a player, practices were awful because you're just like, I just want to get to a game and make this actually mean something. And that's the thing, it's I think one of the, if I had to say things that are different, and I'm sure I could pull that back in my day thing so many times, the amount of preparation to your body as a player, I don't think a lot of our kids do that. Like we would have organized runs, during our dead week back in the day, where we would go out and run as a team and preseason condition as a team, even if the coach wasn't there. I mean, but they did at South Iron at the time, they did start cross country. So we would have, legal basketball conditioning, and then we would have open gym, which was, like, hey, you didn't have to be here, but I don't have to play you. And it's something because I see a lot of kids, man, and I've seen it for a while, even at Pius and even at Grandview. It's just like, if you're not a kid who plays basketball all the time in AU, even if you played another sport, you came in and you were nowhere near basketball shape, and the kids are like really struggling with it. And it's like, guys, we told you that this was going to happen, and you played basketball before, so it's not like you didn't know this was coming. I get it. If you played another sport, you're not going to go play football and then go run for an hour, or get on a treadmill and do things like that. But the kids who don't play a fall sport, they're the ones who really, I mean, it's like you're not doing anything, and all of a sudden, hey, I'm going to play basketball.
It's hey, I'm going to go get the kids that probably don't play a sport in the fall. And it's not always the case, but generally it's like they may get some shots up, but it's stationary shots and not moving around. They're just kind of shooting into the gun or the machine or whatever. If you're doing any conditioning, they may get a lift in here and there, but that's not conditioning in a sense that to be able to sprint up and down the floor for a quarter and a half before you get a couple of minutes break type of thing. And you're right. It's just it's working on the skills, not on all aspects of the game.
There are things that you can do with the gun, with the shoot away, or whatever, that can help with conditioning. But if you're not on top of it, organizing it for the kids, I mean, they're going to find the stationary shoot, and that's what they're going to do. So, I mean, again, it's tough. And if they're not doing that and they don't play a sport, man, they struggle.
It's a shock to the system. Well, I was gonna say it's a shock to the system, and I told the boys, I said, hey, whether you played football or not, you guys, you need to get a good stretch. You need to get some obviously some hydrate. You need to probably get some fruits in you, some vegetables. I mean, all of that, because basketball, and we've said this as long as we've done the show. Basketball is a different sport from baseball, from football, from volleyball, from softball. It's continuous. It's nonstop. Basketball and wrestling are nonstop. And the other sports, you get to stop, you get to think, you get to collect yourself. You don't do that in basketball. It's full tilt while you're on the floor. Yes. And then, and you get in the ball game, you have got to be mentally engaged from start to finish. Otherwise, it's just one of those sports that if you are not engaged physically and mentally, it I don't know, you get behind the 8 ball pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
I had to condition myself as a coach going from softball to basketball, just because even coaching it is two completely different things. So
yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like making sure that you're, talking about, like, if I don't coach a fall sport and basketball coach, I mean, I don't know, maybe Zach knows, and Kevin, you might know. I don't know if any of our listeners know, but I'm kind of vocal, so I tend to, feel like I'm losing my voice after the first 1 or 2 days.
Oh yeah.
So you got to get used to that too. There's a little conditioning of,
sometimes the term would be unnecessarily
lies.
Vocal.
Those are lies. That's misinformation. Kevin, we are not mainstream media here. We are the coach's box. We do not give misinformation.
So
Keep it real.
I'll put you guys on the spot as call like you see it as head coaches. And Kevin, you can add into this. So you're in the first week of practice. What are your thoughts? What are you looking for? And I know, Chris, you said tryouts. What are you looking for in tryouts? And obviously, yes, we're talking about kids trying to make the team. But again, as you go in and you're assessing and you're evaluating, what are you hoping to see? Again, what marks are you trying to make this first few days, if not this first week of practice?
I'll go first because I can even chalk back to when I did basketball and those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball being such a long season, and we didn't really do a whole lot of cuts when I was there. I don't do it in softball. We don't have the numbers to be able to kind of cut. So the one thing I really want to look for is trying to build some sort of relationship between the kids, because they're going to spend a lot of time together over the next couple of months, and you have to start that foundation at the beginning. And you can do that in all kinds of different ways, but the skills will come along. You can see certain things and talk to certain players about what they need to do or can be doing role wise and stuff like that. But a lot of it's going to be I just want to make sure that they're going to be okay spending 4 months with each other every day. And is it going to be and not have it be an issue, that big of an issue? And that's with sense. Me and with each other.
Right. I mean, you want to talk about, what kind of kids you want to keep in your program. You want to find kids that are going to listen, they're going to work hard, and they can share your vision for the program. I mean, unfortunately, I've worked at a lot of different schools, and when you are the new guy, you come in and you have to establish how you want things done. I was having a conversation with Eddie. We were at Pius for 5 great years, and we could say a drill that we've done over and over and over again, and the kids could do it and they just get in it. And it's like, because we've done it every year and they know it. And then it's like, wait a minute, now we got to go back and teach this. Oh, I mean, so you want them to get to that point where they're very, they understand your expectations, and the quickest way that they can get, like, this is what I want, and then they do it. It makes things so much better. So if there's kids that have a hard time with that and they're kind of stuck in their ways, or, they have a hard time being coached, I mean, those are the kids that it's tough to keep around, and you give them all chances, and you try to give kids chances, especially when you're new, but you're trying to find kids that can do those things and have some skill. And I always want kids that just want to work. Not to be long-winded here about it, but the kids that just don't have any quit to them. I mean, especially the first few days of practice, first week of practice is always a grind. Again, most of you guys are out of shape, so we're gonna get you where we need you to go, and keep doing that, and eventually they get to the level, or hopefully that you want. But when the drill gets tough, when that you can see that they're really struggling, I want to see what kind of grit that they have. And grit's something that I can't give you a pill. I can't put a hex on you. I was telling them that I can't do that. You have to develop it as a person. It is a life skill, especially for a young man going out in the world. Not everything's going to go your way. So what are you going to do? You're just going to, oh, Mom, come help me. No, you got to deal with some stuff, man, and let them understand it. And I think that's something that young men, unfortunately, again, I'm on my soapbox, struggle with in the world today, is having that grit to persevere through adversity. And that's what I want to try to get my kids to do. So I want kids that want to try to do that. It doesn't happen overnight, but that's the kids I want, and I want them to learn that skill.
So let me ask you guys this. How do you, and maybe Chris, and maybe it's different for you now, but you can go back on your career. How do you manage the fact that we're still in fall season, and so this first week, there's a high likelihood a lot of coaches, basketball coaches, have athletes that are still playing a fall sport. So obviously you're not going to have them. How do you go through and manipulate a practice where you're like, man, it's gung ho, it's day 1, it's day 2, and you don't have half your team because they're still doing football, they're still running, they're still, again, on the girls' side, they're still doing volleyball, whatever sport you want to say. How does that take a little gusto away from you, or is it a situation where, how do you manage that?
Well, I've had to do that. I've had to do that at St. Pius. The fall sports teams have had some success. A couple years ago, when the soccer team played for the state championship, football played in the district semifinals, which went a couple weeks in the season. So, or kids who made did well in cross country. You just, it doesn't take anything away from me. You just want to have enough maybe summer work in with them so they understand some of the stuff that you want as far as drills are concerned. But if they got to kind of jump in. And I wish, I know it can't be a perfect situation because of playoffs and time, the season lengths, but that goes back to a conversation I've had many a times, and my thoughts 100% that football can be shortened or fall sports can be backed up a week, and basketball season can be cut 2 weeks on each side. Go ahead and shrink it in on this side and play as many games as you can and go, because you always have the overlap of the fall sports at some degree. Football's a tough overlap for boys, and then you have kids that they see the green grass, and if the basketball season's kind of tough, they're ready for baseball. Let's be real here. If they're baseball one kids, they're ready for it. With real sports, soccer can be an issue, volleyball can be an issue for them, for basketball, and then everybody's like, "Well, you got 4 months for basketball." That doesn't make it okay. Like, if it's permission, I wish they would see that and make that adjustment, make it easier, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's not me that's being affected, it's these kids. It affects the team.
And we've seen it in some instances where if the kid is still competing, whether it's with football or with soccer or running, it's much easier to jump into a different sport because they've spent weeks competing and they can their mindset is in a place of competition versus kind of coming in not having done anything, and you kind of have to ramp that part of the brain back up. You see for years, Valley Catholic would play in a football state championship game, have 1 day of practice, and then go over to Crystal City and play and compete. They may not have looked pretty doing it, but they competed. And I think that level of competition and being able to compete will overcome a lot of deficiencies skill-wise and some other things. So I think having those kids, even if they go a couple of weeks into your practice seasons, the fact that they're doing something and they're competing and playing hard and winning, because if you get to that point, you're winning, I think that makes it much easier to transition into that next sport.
Winning breeds winning. If you have success on one level, you tend to understand kind of what it takes for the most part. Especially if it's a kid who has a significant role on those teams, they understand what winning takes, and you see it at the higher levels at that point. So it shouldn't be there shouldn't be any lack of understanding of expectations. So and you have to have a good relationship with them, and you have to make here's what you need to be able to do. And it does help to kind of have yourself wrapped around the fact that you might not have this kid for a little while. I had Patrick Flanagan. We just mentioned him when they played for state championship. I didn't have Patrick for 2 weeks, and it sucked because that made practice a lot better. But I wanted Patrick to have that opportunity, and you only get that one time in your life, so go for it, man.
We were still pretty darn good. We were still pretty darn good loaded that year. We had a deep bench.
Won a conference.
So.
We won a conference.
Oh yeah.
Practice. Again, I still would rather have Patrick in practice, but that'd be me being selfish. But it's just part of it. We have to, until some of the people who make more money than all of us sometimes put together make those decisions that we're gonna shorten the seasons and make it to where kids don't have to choose, or they make it to where they can actually attend both and not miss out. We just have to deal with it and accept where we are. That's all you can do. Or just sit there and piss and moan and then get nothing done. Maybe I just get mad and shave I just get mad and shave my head, as I'm upset about it because I'm upset that I don't have my kids, which gets nowhere. But apparently people do that when they are upset at decisions that are made or results.
Well,
sorry, I watched. I've seen a lot of Twitter in the last 24 hours. So yeah, good times.
well,
Good times. Nice red shirt you got there, Zach.
Hey, I figured why not?
That. I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed it. Go ahead, Zach. What's next?
I was gonna say. I mean, we can kind of piggyback off of this, and maybe if Jarvis.
Time out.
Oh, is he here?
You said his name. It's like Beetlejuice.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! I'm an idiot.
Well, we know that.
Well, we knew that.
Next.
No, we're practicing right along, and for some reason today, I'm 5:30 to 8. Well, I made the practice schedule 5:30 to 8:30 today, and Buddy didn't notice it. We're just cruising along practice, and he looks at me, and we're on our like 6 sprint here, like we're doing walls, or what I call walls, and we just got doing 10. And coach comes walking over. He goes, "Did you mean to have a 3-hour practice?" And I went, "No." I go, "What time is it?" And he goes, "It's 8:25." I go, "Oh my God." So I felt bad. The parents probably been out there waiting. I'm like, oh man.
And the worst part? I never learned to read.
Hey, great. It was a great practice.
Get you every time.
It was a great practice. We just, it's like we didn't want to stop.
Man,
not one kid complained. They didn't even know.
Good.
They didn't realize it was that late. It was crazy for practice number 3. But anyway,
so
what were you guys talking about?
Well, I mean, if you'd watched the show, but you were busy, that's okay. You missed our conversation with high school sports caravan Jim Powers. He was here and he talked about volleyball, so you don't get to talk about that. You're out. Sorry.
Thank God I saw that in your messages. I'm like, good.
You don't want to talk about volleyball? No. Okay, whatever. Fine. That's fine. No. It's the kids, Jason, not you. And
we've been done for like 3 weeks. I mean,
and we are talking about our main topic, high school basketball. Zach, why don't you ask the same questions to Jason now that he's here, and put him on the spot?
Just
you can make fun of him. I mean, listen to him.
You mean good old Justin Jarvis, huh? Yeah.
That's how big time you are. We just misspell your name on purpose.
Oh, man,
just tell.
You didn't misspell it. You gave him a completely different one.
Yeah. Facts.
So what?
Tell us about how your first few days have gone here, Jason.
I will say that it was crazy having 39, 40 kids in the gym. But it's a good crazy. Had 19 freshmen come out, 18 or 19 freshmen come out for the team. Kept around 14, I believe. I had to make 8 or 9 cuts total, and we're off and running.
There you go.
It's I mean, like today, I'm telling you, man, those kids were practicing their butts off. I mean, they were sprinting. I was like, and then when Buddy said that, I'm like, oh my God, dude, it's almost 8:30. Oh, but we gotta go. And some of them were like, can we shoot? I'm like, can we stay longer and shoot? I go, your parents are already waiting. It's been 30 minutes late.
I'm like, no. Kill me. Yeah, go away. Yeah. So that opens up a logistical issue. So explain to us, are you having the 3 teams in the one gym? Are you staggering practice? Like what are some of the, and Chris, you can piggyback, Kevin, you can piggyback on this.
Gosh,
what are some of the logistical issues? Mine is okay. Really, you guys have sound. Okay, go. You guys have at it.
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, I mean, this is the biggest, that might be the second biggest group I've had at 29. I have a couple that are hurt, so that brought the number down a little bit for practice. But right now we're practicing all together because it's hard to get a gym anyway. And, I'm not going to make a freshman coach come in before school or have to practice after boys and girls practice or the junior high practices. So we're all practicing together. It's we got a big gym. We can use the other, half of us at one end, half of us at the other. I only have upperclassmen wise, juniors and seniors. I only have 8 total. So I'm dominated by freshmen, and my sophomores, I think I have 4 or 5, something like that. So
well, I mean, I've only got one senior. Well, there's that.
I mean,
So,
I have 5. I got 2 that are. I got 1 that's been hurt since football. I don't know when he'll be back. Then I got another one who's had some issues already. So I got 3 seniors right now, and like I said, I got 3 seniors and 3 juniors. So I only have 6 that are practicing right now, upperclassmen. So,
I mean,
I got a couple sophomores. I got a kid that was a freshman last year who started almost every game. He'll probably start again, and I got another sophomore a big that's going to be a sub off my bench on varsity probably, and I got a freshman that could either start or be the first guard off my bench. So the future's bright, man. I'm really pumped. I mean, to have 19 freshmen come out for the team. I mean, to have 39 kids in the gym. And with our one manager guy running around, I mean, we have 40 kids in that gym. It's great. I mean, especially when you look out the back door, and they're building a gym, which is
Jarvis Gymnasium.
Yeah, you know better than that, buddy. But
keep winning, you will.
I'm excited.
Gymnasium.
I'm excited. Don't know if it'll turn into wins, but it is good to have numbers. I mean, it's good to have numbers. I hated yesterday. I had to cut some kids that I really like as people. And, as a coach, that's one of the hardest things you have to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning that because I'm finishing my cuts and letting the kids know tomorrow morning. So.
How many did you have try out then? A lot?
Yeah. I mean, you have more numbers than I do, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm new. Some of them apparently don't listen to the announcements about when tryouts are and things like that. If they don't know, I mean, I gotta tell you, man, with so many kids in the school, it's so hard to get information to these guys. It's crazy that they just miss out on it because different places are getting it. So anyway, I'm trying to think how many we had. We are cutting a handful of kids. I think we had about 15 or 16 come out for our freshmen. So, that wasn't too bad. Probably could add a couple more, but I think some kids had some grade issues and or discipline issues. So that's probably a good thing. I think we ended up having probably about 52 kids total who came out all together. I think that's what we figured. So not bad.
That's 9 through 12. That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of kids, so we can't have them all. I did have the opportunity to run some of them off apparently because they quit during practice, just left and didn't come back. So again, that's that. Hey, I'm out of shape. We were talking about it, but it's not too bad as far as that's concerned. So it is tough. It's tough though to have to cut kids. I don't like. I honestly I don't like doing it.
Nobody does. Nobody.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody does.
Well, I mean, if you're in it for the right reasons,
right.
You don't want to cut anyone if you could. And I mean, I handed out uniforms tonight, and I don't have many left.
That's good.
So,
well, that just shows that you're doing a good job with the program if kids want to come out and play. So, I have to ask this now since I'm not in the conference with you. So, are we predicting a JCA championship, Jason?
For me?
No, for the other guy I'm talking to who's in the conference. For boys basketball.
We would have to play. Well, you don't ask me that question. Come on,
absolutely,
man.
Oh, wait. Oh, the future conference champion of this with the St. Pius Lancers, Chris Miller. Go ahead. Yeah. How many years have I heard that shit? I don't even know.
You were always 1, 2, or 3. I mean, I was
only
just
1.
I've never been 1, 2, or 3, or I'm usually like bottom.
Listen, hey, Valeroy is the one that always sandbagged on us here. He's the one that always said he wasn't very good and then would go out and finish first or second in the conference every year.
I only won 10 games. I only have right now 6 upperclassmen. I mean, it's gonna be a hard go. And,
hey, wait, that means the future's bright, Jason. And
well,
hey,
that's what
you got one less. You don't have St. Pius to worry about, and that's not even me. So you got one less school to worry about to win it.
The future is bright, but February's in the future when you finish all those conference games.
That's true. See?
Yeah, those conference games will be tough for us. I think our 7 will be decent. St. Vincent always going to be tough, and especially when you got especially when you have to go there.
If I had to give a prediction, I would have to give it to the Fighting Valroys. Knowing those guys that are junior seniors now, I would have to give it to the Valroys.
Yeah. Zach went ahead and just put you on blast right there, Jason. He said you're not winning the conference championship.
I said
that's exactly what he's saying. If sports betting was legal in Missouri at this moment, which it's not.
Is it?
Not yet.
Or
not
are we
yet.
Still waiting for the results. Okay.
No, that results in just like everything else. But they haven't set everything up yet. But if it was legal right now, Zach is saying if he was betting, Jason, he was betting against you.
Well, Chris, you can tell he's really taking on being a Blue Jay.
Yeah.
That's how they talk about. That's how they talk about the Black Cats. So I mean, hey, when I'm going to tell my 7th and 8th grade coach, don't call the dogs off if you must. I mean,
leave no doubt.
Leave no doubt. Leave no doubt if you can. When you play that new 8th grade, I'm going to tell Coach Kelly will you play that new coach over there, the 8th grade coach, man?
You play that jerk over there. He didn't know. He didn't know what he's doing.
Jason, just listen. When you go over to R7 and you start playing their 8th grade boys, I want to make sure that coach has his arms crossed and legs crossed, and he is sulking in that chair on the bench by the 3rd quarter.
And I leave no doubt. No doubt.
That's right. Leave no doubt.
Oh, God, Deering, stop.
So much fun.
Deering is such a jerk.
It's awesome. Awesome. All right. When we come back, we are going to be talking about
what?
Some St. Louis Blues, maybe some Mizzou basketball.
Hey, wait a minute.
Whatever.
Have you guys talked about Cardinals and Contreras?
No, we have not done any of that. No hints, no teasers. We'll get into all that
for you
in the next one. That's right. All right, we come back. Those things, and you're watching the Coach's Box, maybe.
Did he just Zach?
I'm the play-by-play announcer who's in your ear all game long. And the more praise I heap on your team, the more excited you get. Touchdown! Now, you don't hear the upstairs toilet overflowing, and I don't mean with confidence. You wanted a bowl season? You got a bowl season. And if I could show up on game day, imagine what could happen the rest of the week. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Daikin and Dave Mars.
Good. All right, next set up.
Hey, Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Daikin about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Daikin dealer.
All right, back to one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
You need new entertainment? You need full-length content? You need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Health Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling. We've got so much content on there. Gaming. Check it out. Live, not live. We've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third and final segment of the Coach's Box, episode number 213. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and please like, share, subscribe to any of the platforms that you're watching on currently. That'd be fantastic. We appreciate the support of you and our sponsors. If you're interested in sponsoring the Coach's Box, it's really dirt cheap, and we want to promote your business, so feel free to reach out. All right, guess what? The Blues are needing some people to reach out to him. Good God, can they have any more guys get hurt? It's a freaking mash unit. I'm going to agree with Zach on something. I think the Cardinals and the Blues need stop, Zach. Just stop.
Again, at some point they come around.
Yeah, man. How long have you been married to Mandy? Okay.
Very, very long time.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure those words have never been uttered. So Zach says many a times that the Cardinals and the Blues who use Washington University, whatever doctor service they use
or something like that.
Yeah, fire them. They're terrible because they're got guys all hurt all the time.
Oh man, that's who did my shoulder surgery, Dr. Matava. Blues, he's done all kinds of them. Tarasenko, Orlando Pace.
Dr. Kutnick did mine, and he was like, man, I can't believe that you can, do the stuff that you can do with it. And they did cut the muscle, so I was like, I didn't know that happened. Oh, yeah, it's only being held together by a thread, so don't pick up anything over 5 pounds. Like, okay.
Oh, yeah, I've been on a weight restriction, too. It sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm not supposed to shoot a basketball, and I'm coaching basketball. You know how that's been.
Yeah, a kid threw a basketball towards me, and I'm like, I can't catch this. Don't do it. Okay, good. You didn't do it. All right. I'm just gonna look. The kid's like, Coach, I'm really sorry. I'm like, it's cool. Don't worry. It's cool. So the Blues, back to what counts in life. The Blues, they they've had a string of injuries here lately. Kevin, you're a Blues fan. You watch the games and follow and keep up. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, because some of them are just hockey injuries. Then you get the freakishly weird ones, like the guy who got hit in the Holloway, who got hit in the nerve in his neck last night.
What I thought you were going to say there. I thought you were going to say you got hit in the nerve. No. I was like, oh, nerve.
So, and then he's apparently trying. They said he has to be completely inactive for 24 hours, and then they'll reevaluate him. But there's a chance he could play tomorrow night after getting stretchered off last night. Where they had to stop a period and then not complete the first second period, I think is what it was. But there's got to be something to the fact that there's all these, ankle tissue injuries and other things that are just happening from random stuff. It's not like it's, they're breaking bones or anything like that. It's, lower body injuries and ankle, high ankle sprains and knee sprains and things like that. It's like I don't know, I'm not in there, but it's like it's frustrating because who's coming up behind him to try to fill this role. They're already kind of in a rebuild.
Well, they don't have a lot of depth. I mean,
So
their depth is gone right now. Gone.
So my question for you guys to watch hockey, is it the same? Is hockey the same vein as football in that you have to condition the body for the hitting, for the wear and tear, even for the skating?
All the
like
above.
I have no clue.
All the above.
No clue.
All the above.
D, all of the above.
All the above.
Yeah.
And
all correct answers.
Is there something like the NFL where they're limited on practice time and it's all more meetings? Like, is this
no?
What's the rationale?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
No, this is a gladiator sport on ice, Zach. They're not. Well, you can't do that kind of stuff, and you can only do, no, bro. We're out there skating. We're playing. Those guys fight in practice. Okay.
Yes, they fight. Coaches still with them will realize that they don't do a whole lot of hitting against each other in practice because you just don't do that and risk it. But you have your moments where, yes, you're going to go some contact and some things like that. But
is it a change in style? Because didn't you guys, again, I know nothing about hockey and I'm trying to get you guys to talk about this. Is it a change in the style of play from – didn't last year they wanted to be more rush or more, I don't know, fast break type, and this year they want to do.
The injuries are from guys that weren't here last year for the most.
Except for the Robert Thomas one.
The Robert Thomas one, but the other ones are all some of
the Robert Thomas one is the key. That is the one.
Oh yeah.
We can't win a goddamn face off. I mean, losing Robert Thomas, I don't care what people are always dogging that dude, but.
No, they dog Jordan Kyrou because it's definitely
they dog
warranted.
him too, but
it's warranted. The thing that the Thomas injury is it really hurts because then you have to reshuffle your lines with guys who are better playing on the wing than they are playing center, like Buchnevich, Kyrou. I think Kyrou isn't a center. I think he's a winger. That's where those guys need to play. And it forces guys to take on roles that they're not really accustomed to because obviously for the good of the team, the quality center depth is not there. So Thomas makes it really tough.
The center depth is an issue even when everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
Because they're low, like when they get to their third or fourth center, that they instead of bringing that third line center to the second line, like what the natural progression should be, they're moving a winger to the middle. Yes. So now he's out of position. And then you're moving a third line winger to the second line. So now you kind of got two guys that aren't filling the right roles they were meant to do instead of just having one person that's out.
I know we said we were going to talk Cardinals, but it sounds exactly like what the Cardinals are wanting to do.
Well, and here's the thing
for another
Zach,
day.
Zach, I don't know if you understand this, but when you have your top two lines, your top six players, those need to be your best players. And when you're bringing guys up from your third and fourth lines to fill those spots, that's a big drop off when you're talking about the competition level across the league. I mean, if my guys now we drop down here and we're playing, against say the Florida Panthers top line, which is way up here, man, we're at a huge disadvantage. And when other teams have their third line, so their top nine, the bottom three guys of their top nine could play on the second line of another team, it's another dimension of difficult because the talent level is just not there.
There's a gap.
The huge
that's
gap.
That's the 2019 Blues. You could get down to the fourth line, and some of those guys could play in the second line, and they had energy, and they went and hit. They had the aggression and
it's very heavy style, good
heavy
forechecking. Yeah. And this is not that team.
Okay,
No,
so let me ask you that: does all of the injuries come into play with the fact that they're giving up what seems like a lot of goals? Because I know before the season started, whatever the goalie award is, they were talking like, Bennington got robbed last year. He probably should have won that award, and he's primed to win it this year. And I don't know. Go ahead.
I think the goals are because of the defensive system. Forwards not checking back and playing a full ice game. A two-way game, so you're leaving defensemen hanging out to dry. You have mostly defensemen that are puck movers and not people movers.
Yes.
And so I think they're not clearing the front of the net. You've got guys that they can't win battles down in that other end. They're meant to just be power play puck movers. And I think that's where a problem is. And then there's no depth in that. So
right.
One of the most talented defenders that they have, talented players defensive, Perunovic, can't even get himself on the ice at this point.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, Zach, you're right. You got to stop the biscuit from getting in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
But when other teams are getting quality shots because your defense, your defensemen and your forwards aren't doing their job of get it out of our zone, that'd be great. And then when you have that opportunity, you gotta get guys in front of the puck and not screen the goalie or clear the crease out so Bennington isn't screened. He's good enough at his level to make stops where if he has help. But that's any goalie. I mean, you could take the best goalies; they can only do so much. And if they can't see the puck and they got guys in front of them, it doesn't work. So I mean, Bennington is kind of on an island right now. I will say this. Good.
I was waiting for it to happen, Jarvis. I was waiting for it to happen.
I got this little fan on. He's like, see him digging in his toy box, and he's got a ball and a bat. And I was waiting for the toy box to just go wham, and it did.
So
I haven't been home at all today, so he's like going crazy.
Oh, that's all good. So I think the loss of Broberg, I really like that guy. I mean, he's a guy what a great pickup he was. I think Holloway, I mean, we're still waiting to see. Obviously, him getting hurt doesn't help.
He's going to be good too.
But Broberg, man, gosh, in losing him, you got him and Letty out. It makes it really tough because those two guys, I think they're that's two quality defensemen. I think Letty's okay. I mean, he's a top 4 guy, but Broberg, man, I think his play with Parayko makes them, it makes Parayko better. Parayko needs a guy like that.
He allowed Parayko to do what Parayko does well.
Yes.
Past pairings, Parayko needed to be the heavy one, and that's not him.
That's not him. Even though he's a freaking giant. He's a giant.
Looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane.
Absolutely. So, I mean, he's
exactly what he is. Love those football players.
So, I mean, but Broberg's a 6'3", 199 guy, and he's a left-handed shooter. I mean, he's a very good compliment. He's young. He's only 23. They signed him to a 2-year deal. He's a guy they're talking about the other day. They need to sign him long-term, lock him up as soon as you can, because he's the guy you kind of want to build your defense around.
Well, so now it looks like Parayko's most likely pairing is going to be Ryan Suter, who's got, he's a little older.
He's longer than two.
Heavy player.
He's 30 old. He's 39 years old.
So he's got a 5-year plan. Come on now.
He's the same age. Yeah. He's a year younger than me. It'd be like me going out there and playing hockey. What the hell are we doing?
Maybe he kept himself in better shape, Chris. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
His elbow's not all cut up either.
That's true. Well, it might be. He might have some cool stitches too, or his scars. I don't know.
His stitches and scars are not from a surgery. His are from like running into boards.
Flipping over. I was running into a board. But hey, he's out there, and if he's a good pickup for the meantime. He's only probably got this year, maybe, I don't know, another year, but he's
so injured just right now. You got Torrey Krug on the IR for the year.
He's toast, yeah.
Most likely. Robert Thomas is on the IR. Nick Letty. Kasperi Kapanen, who's done a decent job in one of the wingers, Dylan Holloway, Broberg, and then Matthew Joseph.
Matthew Joseph has done some good things. Yep.
Yes, so they've got that 7 people who would have played every day most of them in one of those first two lines, either offensively or defensively, not able to play.
So let me ask you guys a question. They are what were they? They are 7-6. They're third in the division, which is, all things considered, is good. I mean, it could be a hell of a lot worse. And I do think that I mean, you have Bennington back there, so as long as you got a capable goalie, you always have a chance.
And Hofer, if you go to 2, we're not bad there in
he's not
the
terrible.
depth.
So do you really make a push maybe, or do you sell somebody off at the deadline? Like, or do you make any moves? You know what I'm saying? Like, Thomas is out for a while, and let's say they stay the course and they're right about the same kind of thing where they're, just maybe they might be just a couple games over or just right there. They're in the mix.
How many teams make it?
A lot.
Same amount, 8.
Well,
4 from each
I
division.
don't know. It could have been 82. I don't know.
No,
that's what I'm asking.
It's 8. It's 8 from each conference. It's the top 3 and then 2 wild cards,
which is stupid. I freaking hate the stupid wild cards. Make 2 divisions, and the top 8 teams in the conference make it. What's so damn hard about that?
Man,
you don't like it? Move them around. I don't know.
Right.
Jesus, stupid.
I don't know. They go another few weeks. I mean, they're kind of outside looking in right now.
Few weeks. They're only 13 games in, Zach. There's
that's what I'm
games
saying.
in hockey.
They're not on the outside looking
right
in
now. They're in a wild card spot right now. If the playoffs
they're
start
third
today,
in the division, they're in.
Games, they're in.
Fourth
they're
here
in right now.
I mean, unless they're tied for third.
No, they're in by standings.
Yeah, they're
right
in
now.
right now.
They're
that's
in.
That's the definition of being on the inside looking in.
Inside looking everybody in who's going to kill them in the playoffs as they stand now.
They're holding the door for the people looking from the outside looking in.
If they had to play, who would they play? They would play Winnipeg. Winnipeg will kill them. They're 12-1. The Jets are 12-1. That's the only good Jets team in the world. The only good Jets team in the world. The only one. No, 12 wins right now. The Jets. It takes 4 years for the football Jets to win 12 games.
Hold on. But if you get in, from what I'm told of the St. Louis owners, if you get in, you've got a chance.
They have no chance. As they
get into the playoffs now. You get into the playoffs with a hot goalie, you always got a chance.
I was exaggerating. Kevin is 1,000% correct. When if your goalie gets hot and everything's kind of clicking, especially with your defenseman and with your forecheck in the playoffs in 7-game series, because that first round is 7 games, you can win. You can win. You can be the last place team and upset the one. And it has happened many a times, more times in hockey, I believe, than probably any other sport. And because of what Kevin just said, 100,000%. So you're saying
then
there's a chance?
Then you have to stay the course. You can't.
No. I'm asking, do you? I'm not okay. So do you? Because they are kind of in a retool, right? Mm-hmm. Do you try to go and boost it? Do you go try to get somebody? What do you do? If you're in a retool right now.
Well, they've won 2 straight.
Okay.
They have the Utah Hockey Club.
The stupidest effing game nickname in all of the. Just pick a mascot. Be the damn Yeti.
No, it drives me so crazy.
So dumb.
So that they're 5-5, so they have a chance to win 3 straight. At this point, I think you just kind of ride out the injuries and see what happens. And you get through at least mid-December, you start getting some of these longer-term ones back, and then you've got play. Hey, they were in dead last in 2019 in January.
That's true.
And won the Stanley Cup.
Right. Okay, but I'm playing hypothetical here. I'm saying if they are where they are now and they are sitting in the wild card or 1 or 2 spots out, a couple points maybe. Do they make a move and try to improve the team, even though your chances of advancing in the playoffs is very slim. Now they get playoff money if they make it, so that's always an incentive for people who own the team. But in order to do that, they have to spend capital and assets in order to add. So do you do that in a retool where you probably not have high expectations and trade off something that could be valuable down the road, or do you ride it out?
I think they've shown in past years they'd be willing to go make a move, especially with Armstrong. Maybe not a major move, but he'll go make a move that will help the ball club somewhere along the line, a depth piece or a third line or something like that. He'll find a way to make a move. It may not be a star headlining move, but he'll find a way to make a move.
Jason?
Yes.
Jesus. Can you answer the question?
I don't even know what the question was.
I'm gonna say, just like the kids. Just like the kids. Can you repeat it? Can you repeat the question?
Hey, the instructions are on Google Classroom.
Sorry. Sorry about that, Chris.
All right, hang on. I'm sorry. I didn't read your paperwork first before I asked the question.
Gotta put your name on it. Gotta put your name on it.
Can you put that? Can you give me 3 or 4 choices?
No, I will not
No.
eliminate one of the choices.
You got to knock it down. You got to knock it down to 2 choices.
We did not put the learning objectives in the chat. This is us.
Yeah.
I did my chunking. And you didn't pay attention. Okay. If the blue, I will say it again, just because I'm obstinate about this. If the Blues are where they are now, and they are in a wild card, or they are 1 or 2 points out,
Armstrong will do something.
So they should they make a move?
Armstrong will do something. He always finds a way.
Should they make?
Yeah,
a
they
move?
should.
So
they're not going to be losers like the gosh damn Cardinals. They're actually going to go do something and try to improve the team to make a playoff run and not be idiots. Hey, let's put our catcher at first base now.
Well,
we tried the outfield.
Let's finish the Blues and then we'll get there. So I mean, what's our thoughts moving forward? Do we feel like we're going to get? Do you feel like this is a team, even with the injuries, can they make the playoffs? Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
Yes.
Both yes. Or you're being a homer, right?
Nope. I'm saying yes.
Jason?
I already said yes.
Okay. Zach, you know nothing about hockey.
I think if Bennington shows up, I don't know. I look at the point totals. That's just not. He's just giving up too many goals. It's tough to do that.
He doesn't know anything about hockey. Okay, so let him have it. Let him have this one. It's like when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. When the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
He wants to put a sumo wrestler in goal and just have him wedge himself in there a little bit.
Why not? Why have they not done that yet? I don't get it.
Because that's stupid.
Why? Because it works. Kind of like the
you can't have padding that big.
Kind of like the flex. Why
That's
do
not
you
the same
can't
thing.
have padding that big?
You can't.
Like
It's illegal to have padding that big.
They still could shoot it over his left and right shoulder, but his fat butt can't get.
But
No. Stop. Nope. Just stop. You're done. Okay. 2 quick topics before we get going here. Real quick, we're going to hit on Mizzou basketball. Okay. We don't want to talk about Mizzou football right now. I don't, but Mizzou basketball. Go ahead. Somebody jump in. Let's hit it.
20 straight losses. Or is it 21? Who lost count?
I think it's 20.
But it's Memphis.
I thought it was 21.
It wasn't Jackson State or some OVC team. Like, it's Memphis.
Kennesaw State.
Yeah,
they did look a little better in the first half. They just looked awful in the second half, I thought.
A little better in the first half. They were up 14. And then they did exactly what they've done the last year. That's exactly what they did last year. Same stuff.
What's that, Jason?
Not playing consistent.
Have great stretches, and then especially in the first half, and then can't finish it off.
Well, I mean,
can't make
is that a style of play thing? Could that be a style of play thing?
I'm going to say Dennis Gates has not shown that he can make adjustments mid-game like other coaches can, and I think we've seen it in being able to adjust on the fly.
Well, Chris, you said that. Okay, to piggyback off of that, Kevin, Chris, you said he didn't. I think you said, but you guys went to the coaching clinic that he does all his talking at practice, and then that way when he's at the games, he's not doing a lot of talking. Like they're just supposed to know what to do. Like
I mean, I think there's coaching going on. He's just not a yeller and a screamer and things like that. But that's
he's not slightly vocal like Chris.
Well, okay, but here's the thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm sure you will.
You're wrong.
But there is a level. I'm sorry, and I will even say at that collegiate level, there is a part of robot controller basketball where you're seeing it from the sideline, and you can see as a coach, you know what you want, and you can see things like chess 2-3 moves ahead. And if you're not calling that stuff out, it's not going to happen. And if you're just going to stand there, it's not going to happen.
It's a setting structure within within the style of play. And and a lot of times over the last couple of years, I haven't seen any structure with what they're trying to do offensively and defensively at times. There's a lot of bad decisions made. There people out of position, people not in the right spots, and that only comes with having structure. And you just don't see the structure.
I just knowing how his style is and what he teaches, there are things that those guys go through that they have to. It's making reads, and when you see something, they actually have something they're supposed to do. There's an action that there's actions that they have to play and do based on what the defense is giving them. So there's a lot of read it and we do this, and they're not doing it. That's one. So and I've listened to the critiques a little bit, and I tend to agree with this because I think based on the style, I'm going to compare the way that he runs guys in and out to Gene Bess. And Coach Bess, who's the all-time winningest college basketball coach from Three Rivers, would play so many damn kids that it's like, man, if he just left that guy out there a little bit longer, on offense, he's doing well. The difference between what Three Rivers and obviously Mizzou is, Three Rivers is known for how well they play defense. So all those guys are just D'ing up and playing really good defense. And at times, these guys ain't playing any defense because they're giving up a lot of points. The other thing that makes it really tough to win games is when you're not getting to the free throw line like the other team. Now that Memphis only shot 4 more free throws than them, they also and Mizzou left they were 16 to 25. So I mean those points would have helped. And they shoot a lot of threes, and they're not getting enough offensive rebounds, I don't think, personally. So I mean, and then they give up 25 points to the Haggerty kid who played 39 minutes. Mizzou only had one guy who played 30 minutes total. Memphis had 3 guys play 30 minutes. You got to have guys out there playing who need to play. And they also had 24 fouls, and 3 of their starters were in foul trouble.
All right, so let me ask you this: Do you have dudes on the team that can play 30? So in other words, are you recruiting the stars needed, the 4 stars, the 5 stars needed to play 30 minutes? Because if you're not doing that, if you have half a stars, then why would you put the half a star on the floor for 30 minutes?
Because you have a maniacal pillow fight.
He's recruiting 4 and 5 stars. He's got them in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think he's early trying to figure out what they all can do,
and that might be the thing that's happening right now. I mean,
they practice year round. What do you mean what they can do? They've been practicing since August.
They don't practice year round, Zach. No, they don't.
Doing it in practice is very different than doing it in a game in a college Division I basketball game. Even this, Zach.
When me and Jason saw their practice, it was like the first or second time they actually had a practice. They can't start. It's one of the reasons why the coaching clinic starts the time it does.
And they only could be there like an hour and a half. That was it.
Yeah, they get like a total amount during a week.
Yes,
maybe with the coaches, but I'm telling you right now, they're there in a gym. I'm telling you, they're there in a gym with the opportunity to.
Does that simulate everything? I mean, me in a gym simulate us playing like, against Memphis or other SEC schools, UConn, stuff like that? No, it doesn't. It's not the same. Now, working on your game? Yeah. No,
I agree,
Do you
Dave.
the same way in practice that you do in games?
Yes. No, I was agreeing with Dave Jarvis. Sorry,
Yeah,
Kevin.
I am too. I agree with Dave. But
What did you say, Kevin? I apologize.
I just want to look at it. Zach, do you coach in practice the exact same way you coach in games?
No. Oh, I was answering for Zach.
Well, I mean, with Chris, I never got a word in
I was getting ready to
edgewise.
say no too.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
with Chris, I never got a word in edgewise. It was like, what?
So the answer is no.
Whatever.
Did you ever practice that sprint across the floor for timeouts?
No, he'd have pulled a hammy.
Oh, Kosi, go in. Kosi, go in.
Hey, why is Zach calling the time? We got to call a timeout now. Coach McVey fell in the middle of the floor pulling a hammy.
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Man.
I mean, I just really think also, I mean, it is early. It
is.
And you get a transfer like Mitchell and some of these other transfers, and there's a lot of transfers.
Yes,
and a lot of kids that did not play for him last year. And just in the practice that me and Chris watched, I mean, you could just tell he had a lot of, I mean, he was on their rear ends, a lot of the, not like bad, like not, I mean, I've taken some stuff from it.
He does a lot of really great stuff. I mean, really great.
Yeah, he does. And the pace at which they practiced was, I thought was very impressive. I learned more at the Missouri Basketball Coaches Association clinic than I did when I went to Nashville, even though Nashville had some okay speakers, but that clinic there that the MBCA put on, not because I'm a member and all that crap, it's one of the best I've ever been to.
You're not. Justin Jarvis is.
Well, true.
That guy is important.
That guy, Justin Jarvis. I couldn't believe they did that. It said it on the picture, awesome. Jason Jarvis, but then the post, yeah.
So I think
okay.
Based on all the guys that they have come, they've had all these guys, and it's kind of flipped the entire roster. I think we have to give it time for them to gel.
Okay,
again,
so
I said this hang on real quick. I said it last year. I would not want to be a team that played a Dennis Gates team that really bought in later on in the season. I'll say it again.
Okay,
because I believe in what they do.
Yep.
Then how many games and/or weeks are you giving them to say prove it? Because Kevin just said 21, 22 game losing streak or whatever.
They had two of their best players last year get injured right before the season even started. I mean, he had a bad. He overachieved his first year, and now, I mean, he's gonna have to perform. The streaks.
That's what I'm saying. What's your timeline? What's your timeline to say is this?
Let's revisit this around Thanksgiving. Get them a couple more weeks of games in and see what the eye test looks like then.
I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, in all seriousness, I think you gotta again. And Norm Stewart, when he was up there at the clinic, he spoke very briefly. But he said, he loves Dennis Gates. He said he made his biggest mistake he ever made was winning the first year.
Yep.
So, I mean, now the expectation's there instead of building it. But this is a different era of college basketball and college sports with all these guys flipping, moving schools, transfer, moving here, portal. Everybody jumps in, and I hate saying when Doug's right, but Doug is right. Gonzaga sucked last year until their portal guys meshed. It takes time. These guys actually playing real games against real opponents, not each other in practice, before they mesh. And again, if they get hot, that's a tough team down the stretch that I would not want to play if they mesh and things, guys stay healthy, etc. So final words on Mizzou basketball, and then we jump right into our beloved St. Louis Cardinals.
Final word for me, Chris, is I'm with you. I believe in Dennis Gates. I believe in what he's trying to do. I believe that Norm Stewart was exactly right. He won way too many games that first year, and these idiots on the internet, I just want to punch some of them. They're so stupid. They just expect, this ain't Duke. All right. This is Mizzou. And yes, they're in the SEC, but dude, we haven't won basketball games like these people expect in a while. So I say you got to give the guy some time.
I mean, again, if we're talking about this, and I mean, you got to give, again, with the state of college sports as it is, where guys can move around and you're going to have to give these coaches a little bit longer time to kind of establish something, so guys want to stay there, or play there, whatever. So that way they, people come in and they understand what's expected. You can't be firing guys within 3 years anymore. I mean, I don't think you can, unless they just can't get dudes to come in. You got guys coming in and they're not meshing, then that means that there's going to be somebody who left that probably should have stayed. I just think you got to give them a little bit of grace. I hate saying it, but it's just the way it is.
Agreed.
This is a dog eat world, man, right now.
It is.
College sports.
Sure is. All right, so the Cardinals, we'll make our last change of topic before we close the show, but the Cardinals announced, with the blessing of their slugger Wilson Contreras, who has been their catcher, designated hitter, briefly an outfielder, that he is going to be making a permanent move to first base next season. Because playing first base is easy, isn't it, Wash?
It's incredibly difficult.
Hattie can do it.
Maybe, hold on, time out. Maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe he's got elbow problems just like Hatterberg did.
The fact that he can't throw anybody out? No, wait, that's Herrera. Herrera can't throw anybody out.
Well, okay, so I was listening to the radio. I don't know if I was on my way to physical therapy or on my way back. You'll enjoy all that with that elbow. But anyway,
I'm really looking forward to it.
And they were talking about it on the Evil 101 because I'm not really happy with what they did in the morning show. But anyway, they were talking about it, and I mean, Contreras might be thinking, you know what? You're not really giving me an option here. You're basically saying you're going to make me a first baseman. This could be a move that could prolong my career. I don't have to take balls off my head and everything else anymore. This might be a great move for me to do and keep making big dollars. And if I prove that I can do it, I'm going to sustain my career, maybe get another contract, And do I think it's crazy? Yes. I thought you wanted to put the guy that was playing in right. Thought we were going to put him at first base.
Which one?
What do you do?
Which one?
What are they going to? My question is, what are you going to do at catcher then? Because Herrera's not the answer. He can't throw anyone out. He can't play catcher.
Well,
now you're deficient in two spots. He's just as deficient. Are you going to go get somebody? Is there somebody in your minor league club?
I mean, are you going to bring that dude in the minors that you're talking about up? I mean, it's hard for me to sit there and go, so you're telling me Wilson Contreras ain't the best option?
So what they're probably going to do, and this allows them to see what they have in Ivan Herrera, who turned into actually turned into a pretty good hitter. And the fact that they need offense, they probably need to make sure that he at least can see if he can fix his catching issues. But then they can have Pagas if they want to keep him. They don't have to worry about having, quote, 3 catchers on the 28-man roster. They or 27-man roster, 26.
But it's still going to clog up your DH. If Herrera sucks,
that is the problem here.
It's going to clog up DH, and then what are you going to? Are they going to say Donovan's switching to catcher? I mean, I wouldn't surprise me with the Cardinals. What the hell?
They've got a guy that they're trying to open up a spot at AAA for the Crooks kid, who they said may see time at the major leagues before the end of next year. But they want him to play every day, so that's why they wanted to open up and free up a priority spot for him in Memphis. But they've got enough people. They've got enough people at DH. They've got enough people between 8 or 9 positions that they have some people that could also be at DH, whether it's Donovan, whether it's Burleson, whether it's Walker, whether it's Contreras, whether it's
you even say who the DH
Baker, Gorman. Yeah. So
well, the problem.
Would you rather trade him? Would you?
Somebody's getting shipped out. Somebody has to be getting shipped out at some point.
Why? Okay,
if anything, just to be labeled with just to be tagged along with a pitcher, so it makes taking that picture a little bit more enticing.
Would you rather have Contreras play first, or put him in a package and trade for a different piece, same quality, different
I'd love
position?
to do it, but I'd love to trade Contreras and get the contract off the books and get something of value back for him. But he's got a no trade clause, and he doesn't want to go anywhere.
Well, and that's the problem they also talked about on there is Contreras has all the cards.
Yes.
I mean,
literally.
So, and what's the market for a catcher that's not a good catcher but can hit?
Well, I mean, you offense is going to help anything, and all of Contreras' injuries, correct me if I'm wrong, have been from him catching, right?
Yeah, freak catching accidents like and crap like that.
So if they can keep him around and actually have him play, a whole season minus those rest days, because everybody has to have a rest day playing baseball now.
Load management.
Screw you, Greg Popovich, you ass clown, making it to where everybody's got to have load management. But
oh my gosh, good thing we ain't talking about Embiid then.
Yeah. So the thing that, I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, I want to have him out there. I'm paying him, so I don't want him being hurt. It makes sense to do that. The problem is you've got Burleson and Gorman, who both need to be playing first or DHing, and they're both left-handed. I want to see what I have in Gorman, so I can see if I need to move him, or if I can move on from him, or if I want to keep him.
You don't think you've seen what you have in Gorman?
He's going to strike out a lot, but I need some guys who can listen.
He's not Kyle Schwarber.
Why couldn't he be? Why couldn't he be?
He's not. He's proven he's not.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what we have in any of these guys, because as soon as any player leaves St. Louis, they start performing, and that's where they're at. So I want that version of all these players, but I want that version in St. Louis, and we're not going to get it for some reason. What is that reason?
Well, I don't know, but I will say this. I mean, Gorman had not in 107 games and playing weird spots times and didn't finish the season with the big league club. He had 19 home runs and 50 RBIs. And I know he struck out like a jillion times, 151, which is second most on the team, but he had the third most home runs. He still had the third most home runs. So he has power. He has the ability to hit the ball. And think about it like this.
So he walks into one every 30 at bats.
I'd love to have a guy who would do that. That'd be great. I don't care. Listen, Reggie Jackson hit 242 and he hit 40 home runs, and everybody's like, man, that dude can't get hit. If you hit 40 and you can't hit 200, everybody's like, that dude can hit. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We've had worse hitters.
You can have that. You can have that if everybody else around him.
Pajes, who walked into one every 400 at bats.
That's true. But look, I'm not saying that he's going to be Kyle Schwarber. He might be an off-brand, always save Kyle Schwarber. I think you've got to. I think you have to. I think or Chris Davis. Well, hopefully not like the Chris Davis after he signed the big deal, Chris Davis. But I mean, you got to have a guy who can hit with some pop, and if you got guys who can see pitches in front of these guys and make these,
and
I would love for that to happen. I hate saying it. I would love for it to happen.
Trade Arenado, put him at third, or put, gosh dang up, the guy that originally played third that we're trying to make a right fielder.
Walker.
Put him at
Walker.
Walker back at third.
But think about the mind job that happened between Gorman and Walker. Well, of course they're not going to hit very well. Come on, you got to take all that with both those guys from last season and just not. You can't hold that. I mean, you really can't hold that against them.
Well,
I hate saying that. You cannot.
Well, then the Cardinals need to just put him in the lineup and leave him alone,
and then see what you have in him. That's my whole point.
we're going to suck
said
anyway.
that at the beginning of
Put him
last
in the
year
lineup.
and wish they would do it.
And they
Take
didn't
your
do
lumps
it.
for a year.
And they didn't do it.
But the problem is they've got this, unless they trade Arenado, the way that they have, if they're going to put Contreras at first, you're going to have Donovan at second. You're going to have Wynn at short. He's the only absolute guaranteed. That's where he's freaking playing, and we're not playing anybody else there. And they can go find somebody to back him up. But then you got what Newt at center, and then who's your outfielders? It's got to be Walker.
Oh,
Burleson. You didn't bring up
Burleson.
Newton
now
left, Victor Scott in center, and Walker in right.
And then there's the other problem. You got Victor Scott. So somebody is going to be sitting more than they're playing. And if you think Gorman's a guy who can hit 40 home runs, then he has to play against left-handed pitchers. Sorry. He will never hit as many home runs and do the things offensively if he never sees left-handed starting pitchers.
Listen, with this technology in baseball now, can we just not set up the hack attack machine to just throw curveballs, put him in the cage for like 8 months, and just let him swing at curveballs Pedro Serrano style until he figures it out?
I mean, Michael Jordan just, wore himself out and blisters on his hands to learn how to hit before he decided to go back to basketball when he was, in the minors.
Then buy him 40 pairs of Bruce Bolts. Just
I mean, but okay, let's think about this real quick, and then we're going to wrap the show up. But you're going to have a combination of Herrera. What?
Eddie's comment.
I just read it. So you've got a combination of Herrera, and either if you keep Pagas or you bring up the dude from the minors, I think they'll keep Pagas. Then you're going to put Contreras at first. You're going to play Donovan at second, Wynn in short, Arenado's at third. Now, so we're going to put Burleson in left, Newt Bar at center, Walker in right. And that means Gorman's DH. That's about it. You're going to have to put Burleson. If you don't think that those guys are good enough to play out there, then where are they going to play? And if you're in this spot, and that where's Victor Scott?
Well, if they're where's Victor Scott? Where's
Victor Scott has to be your center fielder. You have to go youth movement with Wynn and Scott up the middle. And I'll say this: I don't even know if this dude can catch or not, but you might as well go youth movement because Herrera can't catch, can't throw anybody out. Pagnus or whatever, Pages, whatever. Like, no, you bring this other guy, bring this whatever. Pothead. What?
I just keep saying it. It's Pajes.
What?
It's Pajes.
Yeah, whoever. Bring somebody else up, and then have a youth movement straight up the middle. I don't.
Go
But
ahead.
what do you do with Newt Bar? What do you do?
Newt Bar, you can go. He's hurt all the time. He's hurt. He's Tyler O'Neill minus the home runs 2.0. Like he'll go someplace else and have a better career.
He'll go somewhere else and he'll rake.
He'll go to
LA with Tommy.
Yeah,
he'll go with Shohei and Tommy and win a World Series. He's just got to go, in my opinion. Again, he's been hurt too much.
What you just said right there, Tommy and all that. The biggest problem with the Cardinals is they have no one that can evaluate any talent right now. Because they are making all the wrong decisions.
I agree.
The decision they care about's money, so they're not. They're making the right decision. They're making money.
There's the wrong guys shaking the magic 8-ball when it comes to these things.
So what we have right now, unless they make a move, they've got one guy who's the odd man out. Especially when we talk about between Newt Barr, Burleson, Walker, and Scott.
And you didn't even mention Siani.
Siani needs to get traded
Who
while
was
his value is
almost a
high.
Gold Glover.
You got to
Right.
trade him while his value is high, because I can take Victor Scott and get the same defensive metrics out of him as I can. Now, he hit 228 and Victor Scott hit 179.
Michael, can you say Bo Hart? One good year.
One good year. Trade him, get something out of him, and go. I think they did fine with that. The guy we traded to the Rays who came up and had a great year, or we traded for him, he had a good year, picked him up off the waiver wire, and we traded him, and that was fine. I mean, he didn't do hardly anything for the Rays, but that was fine.
And the other dude is the second baseman. I'm gonna mess his name up. The Sagasy or whatever. You know, he came up and played well. Sagasy,
Thomas Sagasy.
Sagasy. Sagasy, Pages, Sagasy, whoever these dudes are.
I know. I know.
Don't worry. Hit a little bit better. Hit a little bit better. I'll watch the game. I'll figure out how to say your name. What's that?
PA announcer of the year.
Right. Nobody's listening anyway.
That's true. And I agree. I agree with your brother, Jay. I think Herrera's got to play because his bat plays.
Cross him off, then.
Yeah, that one's dead too. They all, yeah. And that's going to be their team. I secretly wonder, are they trying to move the Cardinals out of St. Louis?
To where? St. Charles? Hopefully, I go to a game there.
Las Vegas. Las Vegas, baby. Vegas.
You can see we're going to see those two groundskeepers off to the side every now and then.
That's right.
They're still crappy.
They're lousy.
Right. No, that's not what they say. They say they're shitty. Sorry, it's not the TBS
USA version.
No.
Yeah.
The TNT
USA
version.
would say it.
Yes.
USA would say it. Juan Ben Cho. Yeah, I hope they bring up Juan Ben Cho because that'd be great. I got his autograph card and it needs to gain some value. I'm still holding on to it. But or maybe he can go somewhere else and they can play him. I don't know. But again, it's the Cardinals, and Wilson Contreras is now going to be the first base. And again, it's really easy to play first, so he'll be fine. I'm sure he will. It's a smart move for them. It really is. I don't think I don't want to play him as a full-time DH. I just think you got to play those other guys. But I think you got to get Burleson to play more first too, and you need to have Gorman play first, and they all need to kind of play a little bit of first. Okay. Find somebody who can do a little bit too.
Is Burleson an answer? Okay, I'm a legitimate question here. Is Burleson an answer as an everyday St. Louis Cardinal?
Don't know, because they don't play him against lefties. Not enough. His splits against lefties are bad. They don't play him against lefties enough. Same with Gorman. So none of these guys can be evaluated as they are, except for Contreras, Wynn, and the guys who've had all the games that they've had. These other younger guys who've been pulled up and down, and you don't know what you have because, well, Victor Scott, you opened with us on opening day, and then you sucked for a while, and then we said go back down. So what do you have in him? Don't know. He hasn't played enough. Sorry.
I agree.
That's
just like, just leave him alone. Put him out there. We're gonna suck anyway. Just put him out there.
Let the kids play.
I mean, I'm never going. I'm gonna watch them at home. I ain't going to them games.
What if I get free tickets? You want to go?
I'm not buying $20 beers, man. I'm not doing it.
You can bring your own cooler. Bring your own cooler, Jason.
Can't bring your own beer.
Can't
get caught bringing your own beer.
There we go. I was waiting for someone.
You can, Chris. One time.
I'm sure other things have been snuck in that stadium, but whatever.
Oh man. Hey, they got bullets flying around there. Come on now. You can come on.
I know. That's why Jim doesn't want to go down there. He might get shot. Well, that wraps up our show for tonight. We thank everybody for watching and putting up with our nonsense for another 2 hours. Good God, it's been 2 hours. I need to go to bed. Some of us got to get up at ass crack of dawn and teach and then coach. And yeah, it's tough life.
Teach. Yeah, 5:30 practices. Great.
Oh, yeah. Zach and them's late practices.
Shoot, I don't have late practice.
Yeah, me either. Love it. But thank you guys again for watching the Coach's Box. We will probably see you next week. So until then, good night. God bless. And we'll see you all then. Take care then. Bye-bye now.
This episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.